You're listening to an Airwave Media podcast.
Before today's episode, really quickly, just want to let you guys all know that I have a new album out. My friend TJ composed this album, and I did vocals on it along with Meg. And super proud of it. It's called Supermassive from our new project, Iota Centauri. So you can go to our website, iotacentauri.com. That's iotacentauri.com. And of course, we'll put that link in the show notes for you. Once again, that's iotacentauri.com. Please listen. Let me know what you think. Super proud of this album. Supermassive. So hope you guys like it.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Matt. I haven't hosted in a while. A little rusty. I hope that was okay.
It was great, Matt.
Hey, I do my best sometimes. In the studio is Ken, Neal, and Jeff. How are you guys doing today?
As always, we're great.
Good. Ken's got his mitts around a sauce bottle.
We love the free sauce.
Yeah.
That comes with some of our sticker orders.
Yes, if you have some stickers, sometimes if we order enough, we get some free hot sauce with it.
And it's good.
What's the connection between hot sauce and stickers?
There isn't one.
There isn't one, but we don't know.
I don't want to advertise for
You know what? It's just fun.
Yeah, we don't. We just get some hot sauce though. That's all that matters, and it's tasty.
Hot sauce is fun. So we got some guests today. Neal, you have all their stats. I don't.
We'll start
standing at 5
Yeah,
foot 10.
you have stats now. This brings a new angle to the competitiveness.
We'll start with our guest competitor today. You've heard him many times on the show, assuming you love him, as we do. He's one of our counsel, in case we ever get in trouble, which we appreciate.
Which, speaking of which, I did do very grievous bodily harm to Matt recently, so I might need to contact him as my criminal defense attorney.
Is there CCTV footage, though?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see what
how he openly copped to it. It's going to be a pretty tough defense.
We'll see what happens in Discovery. But we're so excited to have him here. Executive producer on Patreon, James Campbell. How are you, James?
I'm well, thank you, guys. It's good to see you all again.
Yes, it's good to see you. Tell the folks at home what you've been up to, who you are, all that good stuff.
I am in Kansas. I am a criminal defense attorney, as they pointed out. I will do this as my usual public service announcement. If at any point in your life someone says you have the right to remain silent, for all that is holy, please do that. That is like such a good idea when they say you have the right to remain silent. Get a lawyer and talk to them before you start talking to anyone else.
So don't admit on a podcast that you broke Matt's spine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if I've learned anything from TV, James, if the police, I have learned quite a bit. Whether it's true or not is up to debate. But as far as if I'm in an interrogation room, though, and they have not read me my rights, I might as well just start talking because the whole case is going to get thrown out anyway because they didn't read me my Miranda, right?
Yeah, that's not true either.
Okay.
About twice or three times a year, I have someone that come into my office and say, hey, I asked for an attorney, but I really don't need one. And I was like, okay, well, they have you dead to rights on this. And they're like, yeah, they didn't read me my rights. And I was like, did they ask you anything? No. Like, okay. It's like, well, they have to read me my rights. And it's like, no, they don't. It's only if they take a statement. And if they don't read you Miranda, then there's this huge list of factors, whether or not the statement was voluntary anyway. So no, that doesn't make any difference, and it's not a get out of jail free card.
Well, I'm ready for the bar now.
That's because TV teaches you, like, anytime they cuff you, they have to Mirandize you, and they do not. Yeah.
That's
exactly.
Right. Every time they put the bracelets on.
We call that the Hawaii 5-0 defense because it was always Jack Lord saying, book 'em, Dano. And then he's like, you have the right to remain silent. It's like, no. That's not how it works. That's not what the law says.
So
just
lawyers,
keep your mouth shut.
Aspiring lawyers, go to law school. Don't get your law degree from television.
That's right. And speaking of this, Ken,
Exactly.
you need some law help, so you're going to partner with James today.
Yeah, that's right. And we were admiring your footy scarf back here, Neal.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to once again honor my favorite footy team, the Sydney Swans. But I've been losing a lot lately. So if I lose again, I'm pretty much finished in this business, in this industry. So we're going to be the Sydney Swan song.
In this industry of triv.
And over here, just because I'm a good person, I would never knowingly support the Carlton Blues. But since Jeff is a Carlton Blue fan, he's wearing Carlton Blue colors.
So are you.
I'm not. This is a little lighter.
No,
This is more Port Adelaide. A little Port Adelaide.
I mean, mine's more of a Royal than a Navy, but I get it.
But we're going to be
Close.
Carlton Blues Travelers, because the Blues Travelers is kind of an underrated 90s band. So, that's what we're going to be. But we need a host in order to play. So we're super excited to introduce a Rules Guy impersonator on Patreon. So excited to have him here from Austin, Texas, Kevin Squyers. How are you, Kevin?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Good. And I know you wanted to be, we can call you Bubby as well, because I know on the sheet you said Kevin Bubby Squyers.
Yeah, that's what my friends and family call me, Bubby. Professionally, I stick with Kevin. It's a little too familiar going.
Your office chums don't call you Bubby.
No. They call me lots of other names, but not Bubby.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, similar to James, I'm also super smart. I'm a pediatric heart surgeon, climate change activist, and I get innocent people off of death row. I sell advertising technology, so I'm about 6 degrees removed from any value to society whatsoever. But to cope with that, I like cooking. I play a lot of tennis. I digest a lot of content to distract from the hellscape that we've now entered. So
a lot of doom scrolling.
A lot of doom scrolling. But you guys have certainly helped me through a lot of stuff with all the fun and facts. So appreciate it.
Speaking of adding no value to society, I'm about ready to get to this game.
Oh, let's do it.
So let's toss it to the rules. We got another special one for you. So let's toss it to that rules that I just got in my inbox.
Hey, Triviality, this is Big Shaq Diesel here with the rules read. The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they have accumulated, with a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop and be a champ like Big Shaq Diesel.
The cream rises to the top. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big thank you to Shaquille O'Neal for bringing us that rules read. No, that was an impression by Brian Harris. Appreciate that one. And there's another fun Brian Harris one coming up, too. So we'll throw that one into a upcoming episode. But thank you, Brian. And without further ado, let's get into the game.
As a big fan of Triviality, I've come to appreciate one of the great traditions of this show, Matt's groans of either displeasure or acknowledgement, and sometimes both. You may know that the vocal cords or vocal folds are responsible for producing the vibrations necessary to make these noises. But what's the medical or scientific name for the part of Matt's body where they're contained? And please don't give me throat.
We're going to lock in, I think.
Okay. James, any initial thoughts?
No. The larynx is something in that area.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's something also called like a glottal fold or something like that. Is that what he's going for? Or maybe just the larynx?
I have heard that. I have heard that as well. Understanding that I am a lawyer, I started out pre-med for a semester in college until I got to chemistry, and then I quickly became a business major. So my biology knowledge is old and kind of forgotten by this point.
Well,
but I like the folds.
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure how that plays in. So I think we should go with the more like top of mind answer, which is what you said, larynx. I know that's often called the voice box as well. So let's say larynx.
I think that's where Ben Folds got his stage name from.
Glottal folds.
It's the glottal folds. Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
We also said larynx.
Yeah, well, I think Ben Glottal Folds 5 probably wouldn't have been as successful, but yeah, it is the larynx. I had a teacher in high school, Dr. Spearing, that said pharynx and larynx. Common misconception. I was made fun of after high school for saying larynx, so I stopped listening to teachers henceforth.
That's smart. That's smart.
It looks like the glottal folds are like part of the vocal vocal folds or the vocal cords. So.
Cool. The person responsible for the twisted execution of Charles I of England is also credited with bringing us the phrase warts and all. Who is this old chap?
James, I think I might know this one, actually, if you don't have any idea, but I'd like to hear your idea if you have one.
Well, I mean, wasn't that when they started the Protectorate with Cromwell?
I believe that is Cromwell, yes. And I think he had a lot of warts on his face, and in paintings, they often glamorize their subjects, and he didn't want that, so he said, just paint me warts and all. So
that's the only name I could come up with as well.
Yeah, we figured if there was a twist, you'd go Oliver Cromwell.
That's right. When sitting for a portrait by Sir Peter Lely, Cromwell ordered Lely not to flatter him, but to paint him with any and all physical imperfections, warts and all.
He was really good in LA Confidential as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Come on, man.
Good job picking up on the twisted part, because there's, as we know, multiple Cromwells.
Cromwell was like an early self-love Instagram influencer, basically.
Oh, okay, I could see that.
That's how he's remembered.
Right, he's like, here's my morning coffee. I've got my ashwagandha in here, and I'm going to go torture and execute people.
It's a bright time in human history. Which bird found in Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Americas is the symbol of the National Audubon Society? It's white with black legs and a yellow-orange dagger-like bill, and smaller than its cousin, the blue heron.
Okay, I don't know much about birds. Is that like a...
It's a bird.
Okay, does that have the same color structure?
I'm sure there is one that has that color structure.
Naming birds?
All right, we'll lock in, I guess.
I'm totally lost.
Yeah,
I wasn't
too.
picking up any clues in there.
So pretty widespread throughout the world here. I was thinking maybe just a simple gull.
Well, actually, and I can see him, but I can't think. I mean, first of all, there's an ibis that kind of looks like that, and there's a crane. What is the bird that delivers babies?
A stork?
A stork.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
that's more like a heron, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the long legs, and it's white, and has
like
the
that.
yellow bill.
I like that, yeah. Stork. Let's go with stork.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word stork.
Yeah, we just had Daniel LaRusso on the brain, and we thought, Audubon Society, maybe they like, crane kicks. So we said a crane.
Well, the key here, I think, was the blue heron part. They look exactly like it, except they're white. And I might have been doing you guys a disservice because they're very common in wetlands and not so much in the northern part of the country. But the answer is the great egret. I'd also have accepted the large egret, the great white egret, the great white heron, or the common egret, the last of which really makes you wonder how great they really are if they're so common.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. All right, question 4. This is a little engineering. As I was going through the Triviality catalog, I listened to countless hours while driving, and it made me think about the stripes on the road. Within 2 feet, how long are the dashed stripes on a standard U.S. highway, and how long is the space in between them? We'll do 5 points for each answer.
What are you doing, Neil? Neil's like measuring with his hands. Like that's gonna help.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it's like...
You look at the pavement more than I do. No way. Maybe the second one. The first one is there's no way the dashes are that long.
$10 says that Jeff is closer.
There's no way the dash is that long because I've laid on one before and it was not longer than me.
On a highway?
I guess I'm thinking of roadways. We're talking about highways.
Yes.
I still don't think they're that long, but you're the car guy. We're going to trust you and we'll let you be wrong. You can go ahead.
Whew. All right. Big words from a small man.
Smaller than the dash.
That's why Neil is underestimating the dash. All right. These guys are locked in. So I think it's longer than it looks like when you're driving. So I would say maybe like 8 feet dashes and 5 foot spaces or something. Or do you think it's even longer?
I think it's longer. For a while, I mean, obviously at various points in time, I've represented governmental entities.
Okay.
And I remember going when I was the county counselor for Coffee County, going down to the Road and Bridge department, and those actually. There's two ways they can do it. They can paint them or they can roll them out in strips. And I remember like them rolling one out and being like 10 or 12 feet long.
Okay.
I mean, they're really long. And I think there's more space between them than the dashes.
So do you want to say 10-foot strips and 12-foot spaces?
I think 10 and 15 maybe.
Okay, that's fine with me. It helps to have a teammate with experience, life experience, instead of just sitting inside a podcast studio.
Yeah, that'll get us 8 to 12, and I think that's a good number.
Okay,
so we guessed 10 and 10. So
10 and 10, gotcha. So it was within 2 feet, and it was 5 points each for scoring purposes. Matt, the lines are 10 feet long.
Wow,
and
I'm
the
shocked.
spaces in between them are 30 feet long.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. A professor at Ohio State actually did a study and found that most people said 2 feet long, whether they were driving or looking
I was in that study.
whether they were driving or looking at it perpendicularly from some distance away. They even thought it was 2 feet. The standard used to be 15 feet, and they still thought it was 2 feet. So it's when I was playtesting this with friends, pretty much everybody said 3 feet. So for those of you that thought it was 2 feet, don't feel bad.
All right, so it looks like both teams got 5 points on that one.
Great. And interesting fact, the first line that we can actually comfortably look at when we're driving the speed limit on a highway, let's say it's 70 miles per hour, is 120 feet ahead. So the first line in front of your car that your brain can process is the fourth line ahead of you on the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
So kind of continuing on that theme for question 5, you could say that our inability to properly perceive these lines is likely due to how our brains perceive geometry in the physical world. Engineers design roads, buildings, and public spaces based on the system of lines and angles first theorized by what ancient Greek mathematician?
All right, Jeff, I wrote down an Italian. I wrote down a Greek, but you wrote down one faster than me, so we can go with your answer.
Okay, we're going to lock it in.
I got 3 names. I got Pythagoras, I got Archimedes, and I got Milton of Thales. And I think all of those are Greek.
I was thinking Pythagoras or Archimedes as well. And the one that
I was thinking Pythagoras.
That's the one I was most confident in. So let's go with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, when I think of Archimedes, I think of the bathtub more than anything else. And also Archimedes, like weapons that he designed. We said Pythagoras.
Interesting. So I threw one hint at the very beginning. I said you could say that our inability to properly perceive these
He was
lines.
Greek?
So it's Euclidean geometry. Interestingly, his name is Euclid of Alexandria. So it's in Egypt, but he wrote in Greek, spoke in Greek, and is considered to be Greek.
And he walked like a Grecian and not an Egyptian.
I don't know why I thought he wasn't that old, but whatever.
Talk
Kevin,
like a Greek.
We're very stupid, so you got to be less subtle.
Yeah, I will. I'll make every hint pop more.
So after 5 questions, both teams are tied up. It's 25-25. Let's get to question 6. Try to break the tie.
Awesome. So as a native Texan, I'm very passionate about Mexican food, so I had to work a question in here. What is the term in Spanish for a mortar and pestle used to make tableside guacamole that is also a type of salsa that dates back to pre-Hispanic Mesoamerican cultures?
Like guaca and mole or something? Like, is that maybe where it comes from? Is like tools?
Oh, like a guac and mole?
I mean, we have to mull it over.
Yeah, we could guac and mole. Wait, maybe it's a guac and mole with an ampersand.
I feel like I get dumber every week on this show.
Could be.
Guac and mole. It's a great Mexican hip hop duo.
Yeah. Are you locked in?
I guess.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know why we can't remember this.
I think you're just overthinking it. I think we're just going to go with mole.
So the answer is molcajete.
That's right.
Yeah. But speaking of guacamole, if you're not familiar with the song Guacamole by the Texas Tornadoes, I suggest you acquaint yourself. It's a fun, lascivious Americana
Ooh,
song.
I love lascivious things.
Mm-hmm. We'll be making guacamole all night long. All right. Number 7.
It's a little disgusting, but that's okay.
Especially if you've ever made guacamole in a molcajete, the sound it makes is...
You don't like squelching?
Yes, squelchy, gushy sounds. How many words can we fit into this podcast that will make people...
See, this is the kind of thing that I might just put a big solid bleep over.
Yeah. It sounds like a very moist sound.
All right, let's move on to 7 before I throw up.
Moist nugget. Okay. Joe and Anthony Russo have built an empire and reached great heights since their first movie, Pieces, in 1997. Their direction and or production credits include Happy Endings, Mother Lover, You, Me, and Dupree, The Pope's Hat, Grundle Wax, The Bourne Legacy, Donkey Punch, Car Captain America Civil War, and Avengers Age of Ultron. Okay, I'll be honest. I misappropriated 4 of these titles, but I want you to tell me, for 2 points each, which 5 titles did the Russo brothers have a hand in making?
We'll lock in over here.
Okay. So here's one that we can eliminate is Avengers Age of Ultron. That was Joss Whedon, I believe. They did do Civil War, so we'll mark that one in. Are you familiar with their work?
I know they have done some of the MCU, but I wasn't.
Bourne Legacy seems like it would be their style, so I think we should say Legacy, although I'm not positive. But it did have their boy Jeremy Renner in it. So, and then they did do a bit of comedy. I don't think they did Donkey Punch because that was a pretty disgusting movie. I think we should go with Pope's Hat, You, Me, and Dupree, and Mother Lover.
We said You, Me, and Dupree, Civil War, Happy Endings, and then I know they did Carpoolers. I don't know if that's related to Car. That was the original title, but we're just going to say Car because I know they did Carpoolers. And then our last one we said was The Pope's Hat.
Okay. So I didn't get anybody with Grundle Wax, and I'll need y'all's help figuring out points here. But the real titles, well, you want the real titles or you want the ones I just made up?
Give us the real titles.
Great. So it was Happy Endings, the TV show.
Okay.
Mother Lover.
Oh, wow.
You, Me, and Dupree. Donkey Punch. Car and Captain America Civil War.
All right. So we got 3 of those, James, for 6 points.
All right. So I wanted to play around with a little idea here. I had an extra Russo brothers question. So let's call this the 7th inning stretch. The Russos have since made a spy thriller vehicle that has done pretty well on Amazon Prime. For 10 points, name the title of the original series. And for 2 points each, name the 2 follow-up seasons, the countries those seasons are each based in respectively, and the powerful syndicate trying to bring down the eponymous agency across all 3 seasons.
James, I kind of remember this coming out, but I don't remember a single thing about it, and I haven't seen it, so.
I have absolutely nothing on this, Ken.
Yeah,
so
we got
you
tap out. We got to tap out, unfortunately.
Okay, so I don't know how many points we'll get. All I know is it's Citadel, and I think it's like in Mexico, Italy, the Alps, and then I don't know the colons. I think it's like a name, like a person's name. But yeah, we'll say Citadel.
Yeah, so really putting the stretch into 7th inning stretch here. The original series is Citadel. The follow-up seasons were Citadel Diana in Italy and Citadel Honey Bunny in India. And the other agency that they fight against is called Manticore.
Okay.
Manticore.
So just
pretty
take your
fun
Citadel
shows.
points.
I'll just take the Citadel points, yeah.
Question 8, finally time for some sports. With 200 sacks, what defensive end who played mostly for the Buffalo Bills has the most sacks of all time? For those of you that don't like sports, here's a hint. It's what you get when the shark from Finding Nemo slaps you for not keeping Jada's name out his mouth. For an extra 5 points, which defensive end, known as the Minister of Defense and widely considered the greatest of all time, is number 2 on the all-time sack list, missing the record by just 2 sacks?
We're locked in.
Is it Bruce Smith?
Yeah, I think that's the Buffalo one. And I think the Minister of Defense was Reggie White, who played with the Packers most of his career.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, we agree. Bruce Smith and Reggie White.
That's right. They were drafted in the same class, but Reggie White played 3 fewer seasons than Bruce Smith. So it's kind of crazy to think about what he could have accomplished and how unattainable that record would be. All right. Question 9. Every year I think somebody is going to break Bruce Smith's record, but time and again they just end up dusting it off and putting it back on the shelf. One of the best live shows I've been to was performed by a band that started in Alaska, lives in Portland, and has a sweet spot for the colors purple, yellow, red, and blue. Who is that band that's so American?
All right, any ideas here, James?
Only bad ones.
Okay.
When he said modern Jesus, I thought of personal Jesus, which is Depeche Mode, which certainly isn't from Alaska
British.
nor American.
This is a tough one. Maybe the Killers? The dusted,
They're from Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah. The dusted off, put it back on the shelf clue is very familiar lyric, but as these lyric questions often go, I can't attach it to the melody.
I wanted to try and fit Jimmy Eat World into it, but I know that's not them either.
The color scheme is confusing.
Well, and I thought maybe PY, the initials or something. PYRB for purple, yellow, red, and blue. I have absolutely nothing but bad ideas.
Yeah, let's just guess the Killers.
Yeah, we didn't really know. I was just trying to take some of the clues that Kevin said. So I know Olivia Rodrigo, which isn't a band, has a song So American and has an album Color of Purple. So that's what we said.
Interesting. I mean, if you guys in the studio had kept your hands to yourself, you might have been able to focus and know that this is Portugal the Man.
God. Oh.
Yeah. As soon as he said, keep my hands to myself.
Portland the Man. That's what they should be called.
Yeah, they should. All right. Last question around 1. A woman from South Georgia named Brownie Wise couldn't contain her excitement when she started shilling what product created by a chemist named Earl that would end up revolutionizing the American kitchen?
I think we can lock in.
Clorox is a...
Clorox, Earl, Clorox, Wise, Pine Sol, Wise Sol. I don't know. What do you want to go with?
I'm more confused now than ever.
Well, just give me a cleaning product.
We'll say Clorox. Maybe he's the developer of that.
Okay, nowhere in the question, I believe he said cleaning product. When I think about everyday people hawking something, I think of Tupperware.
Yep, that was where I was.
Okay.
That's right. She couldn't contain her excitement when she was shilling her wares, revolutionizing the American kitchen.
After 10 questions in the first round, looks like Sydney's Swan Song is going to be at 56, and narrowly ahead is Carlton Blues Travelers with 58.
We're right on them, James. This is within reach.
I don't like it. It's anyone's game.
Also within reach are all of our hopes and dreams, right?
That's right, and making sure that all those hopes and dreams can happen are all of our wonderful patrons, including Kevin and James. So if you'd like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast to get all of our new episodes ad-free, all of our bonus episodes for as little as $5 a month, including the crop drop and all of the ones that we write ourselves each month. And that's $3 a month plus the crop drop that you get a bonus. So if you'd like to join them and help out the show, go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast.
All right, let's move on to the swing round. What do you have for us today?
Great. So I like to call it the swing ronde for Willem van Vendelo. But this holds a special place in my heart because it was inspired by my beautiful girlfriend, McKenna. But also because I think this guy, we got to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award at some point. And you'll see what I mean as we start running through this unbelievable repertoire of films. So every question is going to be essentially a movie that this guy has made. I'll fit in the year. I'll also work in the plot. And hopefully we'll get some points here because I'm a big fan of points. Question 1 in the swing round. In 2005, Guy Ritchie directs Jason Statham, a hotshot gambler and con man wrongly accused of a crime he didn't commit. With the help of Andre Benjamin and Vincent Pastore, he takes on a bad guy, Ray Liotta, at the poker table to get his sweet, sweet vengeance. Tagline, your mind will not accept a game this big. Question 2. Jason Statham, a recovering gambling addict, goes after the sadistic thug who beat his friend, Anne Heche, only to find that the object of his wrath, Milo Ventimiglia, is the son of a powerful mob boss, Stanley Tucci. In this 2015 flick, he has one last play. It's all or nothing. Question 3. This movie was released in 2008, but they had a pretty pessimistic opinion about what society would be like 4 years into the future. Jason Statham is framed for his wife's murder. He must enlist the help of Ian McShane to earn his freedom from this hellhole by defeating Tyrese Gibson with his super fast car that has flamethrowers and grenade launchers, or die trying. Question 4. He's a former DEA agent in a small town in 2013. Unfortunately, Winona Ryder and her sociopathic meth dealer boyfriend, James Franco, kidnap his kid. How far is Jason Statham willing to go to protect his home and the ones he loves? Question 5. Jason Statham has to rescue the crew of a submersible from a big shark. Oh, and Dwight Schrute is there. 14 years ago, Jason Statham was a killer cop that teamed up with Patty Considine to track down cop killer Luke Evans. You could say this movie is a real Krieg bop. Question 7. The curse of the Bambino has finally been broken. Jason Statham is a bad dude this time, so he kidnaps Kim Basinger. Kim finds a broken mobile phone and accidentally contacts Chris Evans, who must rescue her from the clutches of the absolutely shredded antagonist. Question 8. I thought we'd all be holed up in a New York public library as superstorms emerged, but instead Jason Statham was an ex-cop and cage fighter that had to rescue a young mathematical prodigy from our favorite triad boss and friend of the pod, James Hong. Can he unlock a way to ensure she's not in danger? Question 9. Our buddy Jason Statham did not sign up for everything he'd have to do on the Beijing cocktail. If it weren't for more drugs and doing death-defying acts to stay alive in 2006, who knows whether he'd have made it to the sequel. And question 10. Bookending with Guy Ritchie is the only way I ever wanted to do a swing round. This 1998 film does not feature one of my favorite lines in cinema. Protection from what? The Germans? Rather, we're back at the poker table, where Jason Statham bets on a kid with all the skills in the world, but could not have expected what Guy Ritchie's cadre of Cockney criminals had in store for him.
Oh boy, that's a lot of Statham, but we're excited for it. We'll think about these, and we'll be right back.
Business taxes. We're stressing about all the time and all the money you spent on your taxes.
This is my bill?
Now Business Taxes is a TurboTax small business expert who does your taxes for you and offers year-round advice at no additional cost, so you can keep more money in your business. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on turbotax.com/business. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service.
As a longtime foreign correspondent, I've worked in lots of places. Nowhere as important to the world as China. But these days, few journalists are able to get the inside story. That's because China has shut the door to much of the media.
Authorities have far more efficient tools to control the press, and they're far less reluctant to use them.
I'm Jane Perlez, former Beijing bureau chief for the New York Times. On Face Off, the U.S. versus China, we're trying to break through. We'll talk about Trump and Xi Jinping, AI, TikTok, and even Hollywood. New episodes of Face Off are available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Incoming transmission.
Hello, my name is Matt.
And I'm McKinley. We are the father-son team that brings you History Dispatches.
History Dispatches is a short daily history show where we talk about topics from all over the world and all throughout history. We talk about people, places, events, and even objects.
While anything is fair game, we have a soft spot for the weird, the wacky, and the obscure things you may have never even heard of.
Do you have any examples?
How about Wojtek, the bear who rose to the rank of corporal in the Polish army? Or the Great Emu War? Or how about the biggest treasure take in the history of piracy?
That sounds cool, but do you have a story about the head of Oliver Cromwell, or one about the ancient library of Alexandria? And a story about the first woman to climb Mount Everest would be cool.
Well, we got those as well. Every weekday, there's something new and fun.
Sweet. So how do I get this trove of goodness?
All you have to do is go to historydispatches.com or just look for History Dispatches in your favorite podcast app.
And we are back with this great swing round that gives credence to our favorite bald man, gives me hope, gives us all hope, Jason Statham. So let's toss it back to Kevin for these descriptions one more time.
Question 1, I asked you about a movie from 2005 directed by Guy Ritchie. It's got Jason Statham. It's got Andre 3000, Vincent Pastore. Jason Statham is a gambler that's been wrongly convicted of doing a crime he didn't commit. And Ray Liotta is the bad guy. What do you got?
That really narrows it down. We wrongly said Smoking Aces.
Yeah, we said Revolver.
That's right. Fun fact, it was co-written by Luc Besson, who, in my opinion, has made the best movie of all time. Any guesses
Leon?
as to what that might be? No, that's a good one,
Well,
but that's not the best movie of all
Luc
time.
Besson.
Taxi?
No.
Taken? It's not
Lucy?
Lucy. It's not Lucy. I can't imagine.
Nope.
Oh, no, La Femme Nikita is probably your favorite.
That's not my favorite.
No, okay. What is it?
The Fifth Element.
Oh, Fifth Element, yeah.
Easily the best movie of all time, and if you say otherwise,
Wow.
you're wrong.
Wow.
All right, question 2. Jason Statham, a recovering gambling addict. He's got to go up against Milo Ventimiglia. Anne Heche is involved. Milo's dad is Stanley Tucci. He has one last play. It's all or nothing. What do you got?
This one was not ringing a bell. We just said The Mechanic.
This one's all Jeff. This is the only one we didn't know or figure out.
This is based only on the clue. Okay,
very good
I don't
clue.
know this film, if it is a film.
It is very good clue. Take it, Jeff.
We said Wild Card.
That's 100% correct.
Oh my God.
Well played. Well played, pun intended. Question 3. This one, I hope the vast majority of the people got this one because there's fast cars with flamethrowers and grenade launchers in prison.
We said Death Race.
This is going to be the first of several Stallone references because he was in the original version of this, Death Race 2000. We said Death Race.
Yeah, and I was talking with Ken off air about how funny it was that in 2008 they thought that in 2012 we'd have dystopian prisons where you have car fights to earn your freedom.
Well, it's basically a Starbucks parking lot.
Give it a couple more years.
off.
Give it a couple more years.
We're almost there. There's some places in Texas where, they basically do that. But question 4, he's a DEA agent. Winona Ryder and James Franco are bad people that take his kid. What do you got?
We don't know this one, so it sounded kind of like the movie First Blood to us, so we said Second Blood.
Which is hilarious because the movie is written by Sylvester Stallone, and it's Homefront.
That's right. I wonder if we did the math on how much money the Expendables cast has made, whether it's writing, producing, acting, directing. I wonder if it beats Will Smith or Sam Jackson, for that matter.
I mean, you got Schwarzenegger and Van Damme and Seagal and all of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Question 5: Jason Statham, Shark, Dwight Schrute.
We said The Meg.
Yeah, this is Jeff's favorite Mila Kunis performance. We said The Meg.
Yeah, I wanted to throw a pretty easy one in there. Interestingly enough, I have a friend named Meg, and I wish it was about her, but it's fun. Question 6. So this is where I start getting a little weird with trying to wedge in years. It said 14 years ago, so if you do the math. Jason Statham is a cop killer that has to go after, or he's a killer cop that has to go after cop killer Luke Evans. And I said, because this is, I know, not, it wasn't a well-received movie, not that most of his are, but I don't think many people watched it. So I said, it's a real Krieg bop.
Didn't understand too much about this, but I knew he was in a movie called War, so we said War.
Yeah, and we thought that the best theme song for this would have been Ballroom Blitz, but they just ended up going Blitz.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a Krieg Bop, it should be a Blitz Krieg Bop.
That's right. Blitz Krieg Bop, but the movie's called Blitz. Question 7. Doing a little bit of a clue within a clue here. Curse of the Bambino was when the Red Sox won in 2004. Jason Statham plays a bad guy in this. Kim Basinger's involved, and she finds a broken mobile phone to contact Chris Evans.
We said cellular.
Yeah, cellular. Very quick Neal story here that tells you about Hollywood. My friend and I wrote a script for a horror movie that was to be directed by David R. Ellis, the director of Cellular, who had just done Cellular. And we were doing notes back and forth. He said, I'm going to do this as my next movie. We had a cast. And then he unfortunately and tragically died while surfing. Or not while surfing, but a heart attack after. Anyway, so the movie just got trashed. But that's how Hollywood works. Cellular.
Hey man, sorry to hear that, but yeah,
no, it's okay.
It led to your Slumdog moment, I guess.
That's right. This is the least depressing Hollywood story I have, so don't worry, it's okay.
Jesus, can't wait for your memoirs. They're going to be a real romp. Question 8. Again, doing some funny things with trying to give you the year. I said New York Public Library as superstorms emerged, hoping you would think about 2012. Jason Statham, again, ex-cop. He's always an professional good guy.
He's a working man.
And it's got James Hong. And then at the end, I tell you, can he unlock a way to ensure that she's not in danger?
Yeah, I'm glad you listened to our very special James Hong episode way back in the day. We said safe.
We agree. We said safe.
Nailed it. Question 9. Super fun movie. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend. I mean, I say that for not all of these movies, frankly, but this is definitely a fun one. He's poisoned essentially with a Beijing cocktail that's going to kill him if he doesn't keep his adrenaline high.
We said Crank.
Yeah. Crank.
Yeah, we said Crank. And if you've ever seen the meme, it's great. Someone on Twitter said unnecessary sex scene in this movie, and then the AI responded and said, actually, this is very pertinent to the plot. The sex scene.
It's very pertinent.
Crank, yeah.
100% correct. And last but certainly not least, really a great movie. Thoroughly enjoy it. One of Guy Ritchie's best. It is not the movie that has protection from the Germans, but rather it has more poker involved.
We said Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
We agree.
That's right. Anything that Vinny is in, I will watch.
After the swing round, looks like the points are a little bit separated now. Sydney's Swan Song is going to be going up to 86, picking up 30 points. And the Carlton Blues Travelers picking up 50, bringing them to 108. Before we get to the second round, check out The Working Man, starring Jason Statham, sponsoring this episode, written by Sylvester Stallone, about a working man who just gets into some trouble and needs to help some people.
Round 2, question 1. This Canadian, who's also an executive producer of the found footage-esque show How To with John Wilson, is always delivering amazing business ideas, even if the people on his show don't realize that they're part of an elaborate gag. For you to get full points, I'll need both the first and last name.
We're locked in.
Okay.
So I think this is the Nathan for you guy. I think his last name is Nathan Fielder. Does that sound right?
I again have from the get-go, I had no idea about this. I've never seen this thing.
I think it's Fielder. I might be screwing up the last name, but yeah, I know it's Nathan.
I guess I didn't realize he was Canadian. But yeah, one of my favorite awkward shows to watch. We said Nathan Fielder.
That is right, Nathan Fielder. If you haven't seen it, it's great. There's also a show that he does. I think it's called The Rehearsal. That's pretty fun, where he does some more elaborate
pretty
gags.
Meta. It's a little bit like Synecdoche, New York.
Yeah, that one is really meta. Yeah, that one actually has a trivia element too for people. The one guy who
that's right,
who wanted to cheat to look really good at trivia, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then, you know, also in the clue, I included How To with John Wilson, which is a show. I've never seen anything like that show, but it's pretty fun.
I really wanted to get his outerwear coat.
Yeah.
But they were sold out.
I was trying to remember what it was called. It's basically making fun of Canada Goose.
Yeah.
That'd be a good trivia question. All right. Question 2. I've never played the video game, but Hex Tech is at the core of what show that premiered on Netflix in November of 2021?
Okay, these guys are locked in. A couple that I know it's not that are based on a video game are Cyberpunk and Cuphead. I think this might be Arcane, though, which is based on League of Legends.
Yeah, the only one I could come up with that was anywhere close to recent that was based on a video game was Mythic Quest, and I think that's too new, and frankly, I think it's Apple.
Okay, yeah, it is Apple. Let's go with Arcane.
Yeah, I thought this was newer than that, but we also guessed Arcane.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Arcane, League of Legends, and I think I'm a big fan of everything else that you guys talked about. Mythic Quest is from the wonderful mind of Mac from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't think it's based on anything, but it's kind of making fun of the video game industry. And then I think the one that Neal was thinking about was Fallout, which is but just amazing. Big fan of that show as well. If you haven't seen Arcane, I'm not a huge anime guy, but this really, I couldn't stop watching it. It's really good.
Great.
Question, what is this, 3 of the second round? A little Russian fella named Vitalik Buterin made a cryptocurrency in 2013 that's since gone to the moon. What is the name of this otherworldly asset? As a hint, you might want to think about the sweet oil of vitriol that Nas served up to Jay-Z during their rap beef in 2001.
Neal, I think that we've got something here, and I think we should go ahead and lock in.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I don't think it's Bitcoin. I don't think it's like Dogecoin. Maybe something like Ethereum.
There's
trying so to many coins now.
I know, and I was trying to think of something that had like a space name to it, like Universal or Galaxy or
Celestial or something. But
yeah,
I mean, they always say to the moon for these coins. I think Ethereum might just be our best guess.
I am sorry. When they say to the moon, I just think of the honeymooners. So, because I'm old, and that's usually where I go.
Yeah, we said Ether or Ethereum.
Yeah, that's correct. So, some of the clues in here, talked about the moon and otherworldly, trying to hint on ether. Basically, all the clues were around ether. It used to be called the sweet oil of vitriol, and then if you've ever heard. Particularly with the Kendrick Drake stuff, they say that Kendrick ethered Drake. It's because Nas released a diss track called Ether when he was beefing with Jay-Z.
Okay.
Question 4. Recorded over 6 days at the end of July 1969, this song is the opening track from Abbey Road before the boys split apart. According to John Lennon, it was the motto that Timothy Leary would have used for his presidential campaign.
We can lock in.
All right, James, this one might be more of your style.
I thought about Come Together, but I think that was on Sgt. Pepper.
I don't think it was. Sgt. Pepper's a really weird album, and actually Come Together doesn't really fit the style of like the orchestration of Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah, but it had that, come on back now, you got, that.
Yeah.
And I remember that when they did the movie of Sgt. Pepper with Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees, that they had Come Together because Aerosmith covered it for the movie. But that to me would be a presidential theme type.
Yeah, I like that. I think we should go with that. Come Together.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty sure Come Together is the opening track of Abbey Road, so that's what we said.
Yeah, James, you almost talked yourself out of it, but it's Come Together. So
I'm very good at that.
So on the same day that Timothy Leary was arrested for possession of quote unquote 2 marijuana roaches, he announced his candidacy for governor of California against the Republican incumbent Ronald Reagan. His campaign slogan was "Come together, join the party." And then on June 1st, 1969, he met up with John Lennon and Yoko Ono in Montreal, which led Lennon to write Leary a campaign song called "Come Together."
Could you imagine two roaches?
I like how that's the real big thing, even though he was evidently, according to Wikipedia, a huge fan of psychedelics. So.
Question 5. You may know that the EU is headquartered in Brussels, but do you know which country the African Union headquarters are in? And I'll give you 5 bonus points if you can give me the city.
So Jeff says he doesn't know the country or the city, but he knows the building.
I didn't say I didn't. I was saying I had to think about it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm out of my element here, out of my fifth element per Kevin. So feel free to take this one, Jeff.
I think it's in Ethiopia.
Well, we need
can
to talk
can
about
we
it.
talk before?
Oh, sorry.
It's good to know, though.
I was going the other coast. I thought it was in Lagos, Nigeria.
That's a big city, so I'm down for it.
And yeah, counter to that, I think it's on the other side of the continent, and I think it's in Ethiopia, which we would say Addis Ababa.
Yeah, you nailed it. Not only did you have the building in your head, but yeah, it's in Addis Ababa. So the EU's in Brussels because, I guess per my research, the most central location between France, Germany, and the UK, because their rivalry and the 2 world wars, basically, reconciliation paved the way for European integration. A little bit different, the African Union, which replaced the Organization for African Unity that was founded by Kwame Nkrumah from Ghana and Haile Selassie from Ethiopia. They chose Addis Ababa because of Ethiopia's role in Pan-Africanism, its independence, and its victory during the colonial period. So essentially supporting decolonization movements across the continent. And it just made sense to stay there.
Yeah, I was just going to add that, actually.
Well, let me add some scores here. That was the only question that we split on. Everyone was betting perfect up until question 5 there. So Sydney Swan songs going up to 126, picking up 40 points. And Carlton Blues Traveler picking up 50, going up to 158.
All right. Question 6 of the second round. In 2023, HBO released a documentary called BS High about Bishop Sycamore High School. What was so scandalous about Bishop Sycamore that they had to go and make a documentary about it?
We can lock in.
Oh, wow.
Neil knows.
I've never heard of this.
It's crazy.
Do you know, James?
No, I've never heard of this thing.
Is this the social media controversy thing there?
Could be. Like the bullying?
Yeah. Well, I think it was like bullying and like online racism. Let's say that, but it sounds like it's something a little less serious, but equally crazy.
Yeah, if my memory serves me correct, and Kevin's serving up baby food that I'm eating handily, Bishop Sycamore was a football team, high school football team that was just destroying every other high school in their conference, but it was all grown men.
Oh, that's right.
So you're close. I'll let you guys decide if you want to give points. I can tell that you've seen it and you're familiar with the matter. So
Yeah.
Bishop Sycamore High School, not a real high school. So it was essentially just a group of supposedly good athletes that they brought together to compete with the likes of, IMG Academy and the best high schools in the country. So high school didn't exist, just really big dudes. Some of whom, weren't really good football players, but they were massive. So they said, okay, maybe we can get them to compete and we'll make money from being nationally televised on ESPN.
Huh.
Yeah, don't give me points. We'll make the game closer. We'll make the game closer.
I think that's fine. Take points on that.
Okay. I'll take 5. I'll take 5 points.
All right. That's fair.
We'll take 5. We'll
Take 5?
take 5.
Okay.
We'll take
That's
5.
fine. All right. Question 7. By the time Jurassic World came around, the OG company that started it all had been bought out by Simon Masrani, who later got, destroyed in a helicopter by pterodons. If you don't know any better, you might think that they built carburetors. What company built the original Jurassic Park?
Okay. I don't know how that would fit with a carburetor, but it sounds reasonable to me.
Oh, I figured out the clue. Say it slowly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, we're locked in.
Could I have the clue? All right, so carburetors. I mean, platinum is in catalytic converters sometimes. That's not a carburetor, though.
I will again go back to the midpoint statement of I've never seen Jurassic Park or any of the.
All right. Well, let's
ones.
say Platinum Industries.
Yeah, we didn't figure out the clue until we read it slowly, but
and out in like kind of out loud in our heads.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's InGen.
Oh.
Yeah, admittedly, I'm not a car guy, so this is the closest I could get to kind of helping you sound it out. It's InGen. Does anybody know what the main competitor of InGen would be in the Jurassic Cinematic Universe?
Hammond Incorporated.
Hammond Industries.
Yeah, I can't remember. What is it?
Yeah, so it's called Biosim. They talk about it when Dr. Dodgson meets with Wayne Knight's Nedry to smuggle the dinosaurs off of the island for corporate espionage.
See, Kevin, no one cares.
No one cares.
I totally agree. In fact, I have to give credit to my best friend John DeBrock for that little color. He's a nerd with lots of Jurassic Park stuff, but he won't mind if I say that. He's also the funniest person I've ever met. All right.
What's his name?
John DeBrock. He's
John
him
DeBrock.
and his his wife Shaylee actually introduced me to you guys. So you have
nice.
to thank for this.
Come on the show, John.
John knows that we do care, and we're just quoting.
We're just quoting the movie. We're quoting Wayne Newman. Wayne Newman, not Wayne Knight, not Wayne Newman. I'm combining the two.
Yeah, Wayne Knight.
He was in my fantasy cast.
Wayne Knight, famously the hardest working man in show business.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay, question 8. You may be familiar with the Scoville scale for peppers, but do you know Scoville's old-timey first name? Appropriately, the YouTube show Hot Ones featured an episode with a famously grumpy comic from Boston that could help you digest this spicy question.
Probably this, right?
I mean, he's the grumpiest Boston comic I can think of.
Okay, we're going to lock in.
So when we talk about Boston comics, the first one that jumps out is Bill Burr, but we need like an old-timey
name.
Maybe it's like Wilbur. Wilbur,
Yeah.
Bill Burr. Yeah, let's go with Wilbur.
Okay.
Yeah, we initially wrote down Bill Burr, and then we know it was old-timey, so we just said Bill Burr, Wilbur. So we said Wilbur as well.
Yeah, you got it all.
All right.
Good clues.
We'll take it all.
Question 9 of the second round. What group of non-player character ninjas in the Zelda franchise is inspired by a mountainous region in Japan where shinobi master Hattori Hanzo first learned his skills? It would help if you know the Polish woman that recently won 4 French Opens and 1 U.S. Open.
We're just going to say, after our favorite video game rapper, we're going to say it's the Parappa region.
Very good. All right. Well, my biggest Zelda takeaway here would be Zelda Ocarina of Time. The ninja character in there is Sheik, and they claim to be from the Sheikah. It doesn't really sound like a mountain in Japan, but we're just going to say Sheikah.
Well, I might have led you astray here. The ninja folks in Zelda, they're called the Yiga clan.
Okay.
Oh, the Yiga.
The Yiga clan, which is named after Iga, I-G-A. And if you knew the Polish tennis player, her name is Iga Świątek. So another way in there. Last question of the second round. Don't be nervous, but it's a science question. People with onchophagia suffer from what bad habit?
Yeah, we're in.
Oh, okay. James, I have a guess here. Do you have a guess?
Yeah. No, I don't.
I thought maybe nail biting, because this is a nail biter.
Yeah, that is good by me.
Yep. Phagia means to eat. Some animals are coprophagias, which means they eat poop. So we said nail
I think
biting.
Jeff might be, because he keeps on bringing it up.
No, my dog though loves
biting?
eating a freshie.
Yeah, our dog does too. Yeah.
And they want to be. They think they can get into politics and be civilized people like us. These dogs.
You're referring to the mayor dog?
Mayor dog. Yeah.
We're just normal men.
We're just normal men.
Yeah, so nail biting.
Yeah, so it's nail biting.
So I have this. I didn't know this. Okay. Another ailment to add to the checklist.
Just like this game.
Just like this game.
Kind of.
After that nail biter and the second round in all of regulation, it looks like the scores are still fairly close. We still got the final round coming up here. Sydney Swan songs are going to be at 146 going into the final round. Those are the points they have to wager. And the Carlton Blues Traveler are going to be at 193. Before we get to the categories from Kevin, just one more reminder about Patreon. We love to say that we've never missed an episode, and we can only do that with the support of all of our patrons. So we're on our road to 500 episodes, main feed episodes, that is. We've already passed 500 with all of the bonuses that we do. But if you'd like to join the fray, help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast for as little as $1 a month. Get rid of all of these ads, including the one that I'm telling you right now. And for as little as $5 a month, get all of those extra bonuses that we've been doing with regular trivia and crop drops per month.
All right, Kevin, let's go ahead and get the categories so we can wager for the final round.
Yep. We'll be revisiting some of the categories that we've used across this game. So
Jason
the first
Statham. Jason Statham. Jason Statham.
So the first question is going to be about history. The second question is about geography. The third question is around video games. Then we have sports and film.
All right, the wagers are in. Looks like the Blues are all in with 30 points down, and Sydney Swan Song, 25 points all the way down. So we'll see if it's our Swan Song, James.
All right, question 1 in history. What major U.S. event happened on the same day on which the Beatles released their second album titled With the Beatles in the UK? Question 2 in geography. What 5-syllable landlocked country of 23.25 million people was previously called the Republic of Upper Volta from 1958 to 1984 and borders Mali, Ghana, and Niger, among others? Question 3 in video games. What is the highest grossing video game of all time, adjusting for inflation? I'll go ahead and shoot down any responses around Tetris. Question 4 in sports. I know we've got some wrestling fans, but I'm curious how much you all know about boxing. There are a lot of weight classes in boxing. There are also multiple sanctioning bodies that govern the sport. That means there's a lot of boxing titles out there, and that makes it a big deal anytime the belts are unified. Within 10, what is the maximum amount of concurrent champions or belts that could exist at one time if there is 0 belt unification? And lastly, question 5 in film. How are you guys with preposterous movies from 2002? I'll tell you the premise while trying to work in the cast in a way that makes sense. Eddie Murphy just wanted to run a nightclub on the moon, but the Moon Mafia, led by Alec Baldwin and also Eddie Murphy, with the help from Joe Pantoliano, want to make his moon nightclub their nightclub on the moon. He can only continue to live out his dream with the help of his mom, Pam Grier, moon smuggler Luis Guzman, android Randy Quaid, famous intergalactic singer Jay Moore, struggling intergalactic singer Rosario Dawson, and moon chauffeur John Cleese.
All right, sounds like a great film. We're going to go ahead and think about these. We'll be right back, find out who is today's cream of the crop.
Want to learn how you can make smarter decisions with your money? Well, I've got the podcast for you. I'm Sean Piles, and I host NerdWallet's Smart Money Podcast. On our show, we help listeners like you make the most of your finances. I sit down with NerdWallet's team of nerds, personal finance experts in credit cards, banking, investing, and more. We answer your real-world money questions and break down the latest personal finance news. The nerds will give you the clarity you need by cutting through the clutter and misinformation in today's world of personal finance. We don't promote get-rich-quick schemes or hype unrealistic side hustles. Instead, we offer practical knowledge that you can apply in your everyday life. You'll learn about strategies to help you build your wealth, invest wisely, shop for financial products, and plan for major life events. And you'll walk away with the confidence you need to ensure that your money is always working as hard as you are. So turn to the nerds to answer your real-world money questions and get insights that can help you make the smartest financial decisions for your life. Listen to NerdWallet's Smart Money Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey there, I'm Dylan Lewis, one of the hosts of Motley Fool Money. Each weekday on Motley Fool Money, we talk through the business news you need to know and the stories moving stocks on Wall Street. On weekends, we dive into the industries shaping tomorrow and host the experts, authors, and executives that understand them. Tune in for insights, a long-term perspective on investing, and of course, stock ideas. Plenty of them. To quote a listener, it pays to listen. Check us out and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
Did archaeologists discover Noah's Ark?
Is the rapture coming as soon as the Euphrates River dries up?
Does the Bible condemn abortion?
Don't you wish you had a trustworthy academic resource to help make sense of all of this?
Well, I'm Dan Beecher, and he's award-winning Bible scholar and TikTok sensation Dr. Dan McClellan, and we want to invite you to the Data Over Dogma podcast,
where our mission is to increase public access to the academic study of the Bible and religion, and also to combat the spread of misinformation about the same.
But, you know, in a fun way.
Every week we tackle fascinating topics, we go back to source materials in their original languages,
and we interview top scholars in the field.
So whether you're a devout believer,
or you're just interested in a clear-eyed, deeply informed look at one of the most influential books of all time,
we think you're going to love the Data Over Dogma podcast.
Wherever you subscribe to awesome shows.
All the answers are now locked in. Let's go ahead and get these questions one more time. See who is today's cream of the crop.
Not feeling so confident anymore.
Who, you guys?
Right.
Oh, really? Okay. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So in question 1, I asked you about history. What major U.S. event happened on the same day on which the Beatles released their second album titled With the Beatles in the UK?
Yeah, we know Neal was mysteriously not available to pick up the album for some reason on this particular day. So, James, what did we say?
We said the Kennedy assassination.
Is it because it precedes his birth by 20 some odd years?
Could be that.
There is a book about me, though, where I time traveled back to 11/22/63. So,
yeah, we agree. We said the JFK assassination.
Yeah, that's right. There's a picture of Neal on the grassy knoll.
With an iPhone. It's like one of those pictures. Like, do they have an iPhone?
See, that one actually even happened before I was born. I was born the year after the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah. You think there's a Zapruder
So
films?
he says.
So you were also mysteriously absent.
I was.
You think the Zapruder film's crazy? Wait till you see the Fischer tapes.
Yeah.
I think I'll skip the Fischer tapes. I don't want to see everything.
Yeah, you probably. That's probably a good idea.
As Jeff said, the title's also shared with the opening track of Abbey Road.
Well, the Fischer tapes the Fischer tape is filmed on an iPhone 16. You know, of the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah,
so
you wish, Neal.
There's some questions about its legitimacy.
You still got to zoom in. All right. Question 2 in geography. All right. All right. Okay. In question 2, I asked you a geography question. What 5-syllable landlocked country of 23.25 million people, previously called the Republic of Upper Volta from 1958 to 1984, borders Mali, Ghana, and Niger, among others?
We guessed Sierra Leone.
It's a good guess. I think that's on the coast. We guessed Burkina Faso.
Yep. You got 5 syllables, but the correct answer is Burkina Faso. So Sierra Leone's on the coast. It's in between, I think, Liberia and Guinea. Okay. Also, I believe Guinea.
Something like that.
Yeah. Everyone say it. I think Burkina Faso won the 3rd season of Drag Race. Fun fact. Question 3 Question 3 in video games. What is the highest grossing video game of all time, adjusting for inflation? And I added some color and I said, I'll go ahead and shoot down any responses around Tetris.
Because of the shoot down, we said maybe it's the Mario Duck Hunt.
We thought about that. We thought that might be in contention, but I know that on the top of the list is always like Minecraft and like Wii Sports, but also is GTA 5. So we guessed GTA 5.
Okay, well, you guys were just as stumped at this question as I was when I first read this fact. With $30 billion when you adjust for inflation, it's Space Invaders. I think Ken and James had said that.
That did come up in our conversation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Usually you think about it as, sort of, at an arcade. But at the time, by the end of the year it was released, I think they had sold 100,000 machines in Japan at $6,700 a pop. So,
whoa,
good for them.
Yeah, they did a lot of damage early on. Sports, this is a tough one. You got math. You also got boxing, which has become a little obscure. Essentially, I said, do some math. The amount of weight classes times the amount of organizations that are the official governing sanctioning bodies.
We did do some math. We came up with maybe 70 potential belts.
We struck a little bit higher, and we said 120.
Wow. Okay. Quite a range. I was able to listen in on Ken and James's discussion. I think some of the math was 6 organizations and 10 weight classes. So you've got 4 organizations. You have the World Boxing Association, the WBA. You've got the World Boxing Council, the International Boxing Federation, and the World Boxing Organization. To be fair, this could be a widely contested question because there's also a magazine called The Ring that hands out belts, but I don't believe in them. Now we get into the weight classes. So there are 17 weight classes.
Wow.
You could say that there
You guys
are
really close.
You're 2 off. So the answer is 68 belts.
We got points.
You got there. Yeah. You were wrong, but you got there anyways. So I won't go through all the belts because there's not enough time in the world. But you could say that there might be 18, but really this is all just men's and women's classes. If you wanted to know the 18, that's called atom weight, ATOM weight, and that's female fighters less than 102 pounds, which frankly I don't want to watch. That sounds terrible. Not for athleticism, just because I feel like it's torture for them.
Speaking of a nail biter, it all comes down to the last question. So if we get it right, we win. If we get it wrong, we lose.
What are the?
And I had to correct Neal's film answer.
Well, looking over at your paper, it looks like we might have the same answer. So to cut the tension.
Yeah. Question 5. If you know this one, you know this one. And if you know this one, you know how ridiculous it is. I gave you a 2002 movie with Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy. Not as many Eddie Murphys as, The Nutty Professor, but a lot of stars in this. What do you got?
Yeah, we said Pluto Nash. I think I may have seen this in the theater, which I regret.
No, guys. We said Norbit. No, I'm just kidding. We said Pluto Nash.
Yeah, the movie's called The Adventures of Pluto Nash. I'll leave it up to you whether you want to give yourself credit for not getting the whole title.
We're taking credit.
I love points, so if I'm the judge, I give them to you. What do you guys think the budget was, and what do you think the box office was?
100 mil, and the box office was $12,000.
100 mil, yeah.
It's not Zizek's Road.
I think it was probably with all those in. Because I remember Eddie Murphy hosting, when he came back to host Saturday Night Live after he left, he was talking about that, he left the show and he was never going to come back and he was never going to do anything. And then somebody talked him into doing Best Defense, which bombed with Dudley Moore. And then he agreed to do Saturday Night Live to try and revamp his career. And before he did Saturday Night Live, then he'd done Golden Child, and so he bounced back.
Brother Nimsy.
I remember that at the time it came out, they said Pluto Nash was his biggest bomb, surpassing Best Defense. So I'm going to say 150, and it grossed 10 million.
Okay. I mean, everyone's pretty close. The budget was 100 million, and it made 7.1.
Whoa!
Wow.
Oh,
pretty.
I was right on with the cost.
Plus, they never talk about it, but usually a Hollywood's budget is ×2 for marketing. So it was 200 million and only made 7 million. So
brutal.
Yeah.
What are our results, which are also brutal?
Not too brutal, but the Sydney Swan songs are going to end with
honk, honk, honk.
Going to end with 171. Honk. And Carlton Blues Traveler traveled up to 223 points, making them today's cream of the crop.
The cream rises to the top.
All right. Well done, everybody. It was a great game.
It was a really great game.
Kevin, very well written.
Thank you very much. This is my first game, so I apologize if it was a little too tough. I wanted it to be
it's great.
Wanted it to be hard but fair, much like Edward Cullen.
It was.
It sparkled as well.
It was just right.
It was just right. Any shout outs or anything you'd like to give before 100%. We let you go?
Absolutely.
Certainly so McKenna, I would think, so you don't get in trouble.
That's right. Number one with a bullet, McKenna. Also, my best friends, John and Shaylee, who not only introduced me to you guys, but also got on a long call yesterday to help me practice for this. And then Marty from the Discord was also very helpful.
Awesome. Thanks to those guys.
Yeah, and thank you so much for being here. And James, always a pleasure to have you. We're looking forward to seeing you again hosting a game, and not too long. But any shout outs or anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
Well, I just want to thank you guys for everything you do, and I, much like a lot of people, started listening way back during the pandemic now, and it really, listening to Triviality really got me through that. I would just say to everybody, if you ever have an opportunity to support your local legal services organization, please do so. Those are attorneys who represent the most at-risk and in-need people in civil matters, as opposed to criminal cases where you have a right to an appointed counsel. When you have situations with domestic violence, or you have situations with landlord, slumlord type situations, or the elderly trying to get things accomplished, legal services across the country reach out and try and help those people. Actually, next month, I am volunteering one day for an expungement clinic where I will go spend all day and just help people try and get their mistakes cleaned up from their past lives so they can move on to be more productive members of society. Again, it's a lot of lawyers who are dedicated to trying to help people, and they are certainly not the best paid lawyers in the world, but they do this out of love and public service. And if you ever have a chance, please, please, please support all those organizations.
Well said.
That's a wonderful cause and shout out. We appreciate that.
And that'll do it for today's episode. We appreciate everybody on the episode. Matt joined us for the beginning, but then his call dropped, so he just randomly disappeared, which we never addressed.
Yeah, and I guess.
But thanks to Matt for showing up.
Yeah, he showed up a little bit.
He was having some internet problems today. But for our guests, James, Kevin, thank you for your support. Thanks for being here. Jeff, Neal, and myself, that was Triviality.
In honor of our most used review on iTunes, you have the right to remain silent. Triviality. There you go.
History never says goodbye. It just says, see you later. Edward Galeano was right when he said that. Events keep happening over and over again in some form. And that's the reason I produce the podcast, My History Can Beat Up Your Politics. What is it? We take stories of history and apply them to the events of today to help you, perhaps, understand them better. We are also part of Airwave Media Network. I've been doing the program since 2006. That's a long time, and the show has a long name. My History Can Beat Up Your Politics. Find me wherever you get podcasts.
From the creators of the popular science show with millions of YouTube subscribers comes the Minute Earth podcast. Every episode of the show dives deep into a science question you might not even know you had. But once you hear the answer, you'll want to share it with everyone you know. Why do rivers curve? Why did the T-Rex have such tiny arms? And why do so many more kids need glasses now than they used to? Spoiler alert, it isn't screen time. Our team of scientists digs into the research and breaks it down into a short, entertaining explanation, jam-packed with science facts and terrible puns. Subscribe to Minute Earth wherever you like to listen.
You can spend less time staying in the know about all things gaming and get more time to actually play the games you love with the IGN Daily Update podcast. All you need is a few minutes to hear the latest from IGN on the world of video games, movies, and television with news, previews, and reviews. You'll hear everything from Comic-Con coverage to the huge Diablo 4 launch. So listen and subscribe to the IGN Daily Update wherever you get your podcasts. That's the IGN Daily Update, wherever you get your podcasts.